Alright, this is Chris recording for Pure MTGO. This is going to be my recording for the week. This is a deck I've been playing in two mans all weekend, and I've had immense success with the deck. It's been absolutely insanely great for me. Um, this is a list that's pretty similar to the one that was posted on Channel Fireball recently by a guy named James Fazzolari. Forgive me if I'm saying that name wrong. But he took this to Grand Prix, a list very similar to this. This is a little bit different. I'll go over his changes, vice what I have played here, what I'm playing here. Um, this is a standard burn deck, but it's attacking on a really different axis. I'm sorry. We've got Fire Dancers here, Satyr Fire Dancers, which makes all your burn spells turning like Searing Blazes. So the stuff like Boros Charm can go to creatures, and Skullcrack can go to creatures, and you get like immense 2-for-1s if you can kill something with a Searing Blood. Then you've got Ash Zealots and Chandra's Phoenixes, and all these things, the Fire Dancer, the Ash Zealot, and the Chandra's Phoenixes are repeatable sources of damage. And you add those up with these Mutavaults. So they become, 4 points of damage. Each one of these cards that does damage adds up, over the course of a game, because occasionally you're just Boros Charming them to the face, or you're throwing a Helix at their face for 4. And when Zealot has gotten in 4 points and a Phoenix has gotten in 4 points, all of a sudden you only need 12 damage worth of burn spells to kill your opponent. So that's the main purpose of the deck, and that's why the deck works the way it does. But land base, we've got 2 Boros Guild Gates, and that's just to support the white mana requirements, especially post-board when you're bringing in things like Chain to the Rocks and Spark Trooper and Viashino First Blades. So that's why we're running the 2 Guild Gates. You definitely want to hit your white mana on time, and even if that means you have to play a bad lane to do it, sometimes you need to. I had been previously running like either a Temple of Silence or a Temple of Malice in these slots, but what I found is the scry isn't that powerful. You do have a lot of powerful scry, or a lot of power with this deck because of scry with Temple of Triumph and Magma Jets already to smooth out your draws. So the additional scry from the Temple of Malice and the Temple of Silence weren't worth the loss of potential mana on turn 2. Because turn 2 is really your critical turn, because as you see right here, we've got all these turn 2 spells that we want to cast, and you really need to be able to cast an Ash Zealot on time, or a Searing Blood on time, or a Boros Charm whenever you need to. We've got 9 basic mountains, because we're a red deck, and basic mountains are always good. And then 4 Mutavaults, once again, as a repeatable source of damage. For 1 damage spells, we've got Shock. Shock is clearly the worst card in the main deck, but it does have uses. That you can shock at turn 1 Elvish Mystic, or your opponent's turn 1 Rakdos Cackler, or something like that, to keep the pressure off of you, and to prevent them from ramping. But we're only running 3, because we don't want to see more than 1, maybe 2 per game. We've got 4 Boros Charms because they deal 4 damage to your opponents. You can also occasionally live the dream and play Boros Charm on your Spark Trooper to give them double strike, but that's pretty niche, and you're usually sideboarding out Boros Charms against the decks that you're bringing in Spark Trooper anyway. So that's not a big deal. Skullcrack is really good in this format right now. It catches people with their pants down if they try to play Grey Merchant or Sphinx's Revelation, and they don't have a backup plan for when you Skullcrack them. So Skullcrack is just generally really good. It's also just 3 damage, and we're a burn deck, so that's what we want to do. Searing Blood is absolutely insane. It combos very well with Ash Zealot's First Strike and Chandra's Phoenix's Recursion. And as I told you before, the Fire Dancer, you can get 2-for-1s, even 3-for-1s whenever you Searing Blood something, because Searing Blood is already a 2-for-1 if you get to kill something. You combo it with Fire Dancer, just amazing possibilities are open to you. Magma Jet's Scry 2 is really powerful in this deck, because you really want to, these other decks that are running 26, 27 lands, when you Scry, you have the ability to just straight up out card advantage them and get rid of just kill them before they get the big old Sphinx's Revelations on time, and also helps you dig to things like Skullcrack if you don't have one in your hand, or repeatable sources of damage like Chandra's Phoenix. Occasionally you'll Scry to that. Lightning Strike is just the best burn spell we have right now. It goes to either creatures or players, and it's always useful. Never sideboarding that out, ever. Talked a little bit about Fire Dancer already. He's just a 1/1 for 2, but his real utility comes in just killing anything, right? Your opponents will have a rough time playing out creatures if he's on the table and they don't have an answer to him. and then they'll often have to play answers to them, which gains you mana advantage overall. Whenever they're just playing a detention sphere to deal with your Satyr Fire Dancer or something, then it gives you more time to lay down the Phoenixes and the Helix them and whatever. Ash Zealot, these decks used to run Young Pyromancers, but I found the Young Pyromancers just too slow. It just didn't do enough. The Ash Zealot, as James says in his article, is just it's a hasty threat. It's a great top deck. It's pretty much good at any point in the game, and you're never really unhappy to draw it. And, 2/2 first strike haste, you can't really beat it. And then obviously the Phoenixes combo really well with all of our burn spells, and they beat mono black because you can just repeatedly sacrifice a Phoenix to keep a demon off of your back, or turn off their spot removal to make it way worse, whenever you could just get your Phoenix right back. And then we got 3 Helixes. We really don't want to draw more than one a game either, because it's just so mana intensive. But it's very, very good against just getting a situational 4 to the face, or dealing with a larger creature that you can't otherwise deal with, like Courser of Kruphix. That being said, moving along to the sideboard, we have Chained to the Rocks. For any big creature matchup, you're bringing this in against Master of Waves, against Desecration Demon, and even weenie strategies. It's very good to have a 1-mana removal strategy for their weenies. We've got Fire Drinker Satyrs, and these are only for blue-white control variants. They have no profitable way to deal with the Satyr, and he's very, very good against Jace and other planeswalkers as well. You can attack with impunity, and it's like, oh well, don't take away my 1 point. -1, -0 doesn't really matter that much when I can pump him right up. It also makes him awkward for your opponents to cast Last Breath on him, because you can just pump him and negate the Last Breath. So he's very, very good. We've got another Fire Dancer on the board for creature-heavy matchups. You're bringing this in once again against any form of a blue devotion deck, or weenie strategies, against red strategies, against monster strategies, because you can just Boros Charm your opponent in the face, and if you have like a Fire Dancer or 2 on the table, you can kill a Polukranos. We've got Spark Troopers. We're bringing this against green-red monsters and red decks. You need to be really careful with how you play the Spark Troopers, though. Don't play into a removal, basically, because you're spending 4 mana on this guy, and if he gets lightning striked or shocked or magma jetted or something, you just feel awful about it. Then we got the First Blades, also for blue-white control. We're playing First Blade over Minotaur Skullcleaver because the First Blade gets +2/+2, and that lets him be able to attack into things like Archangel of Thune or Mutavaults, and he won't die that turn. And then they still have to deal with the 2/2 body that's left over. Overall, the deck is just very, very good for me right now, and I haven't lost a whole lot with the deck. My win percentage is something like 75 to 80% in 2-man constructed Ks. We're taking this to a daily event right now. I actually just took it to round 1 of the daily event, and I didn't record the deck tech beforehand, so I hope you guys enjoy watching this, and we'll see what happens.